Okay, so let's talk part 3. In this, I'm going to be talking about what an endemic is, what an epidemic, and what a pandemic is. So, endemics are diseases that are localized to a particular region, and the number of incidences of those diseases remain constant over a period of time or year after year. So, for example, cholera in India is an example of an endemic. When it comes to epidemic, there is a slight increase or there is a sharp increase in the number of incidents over a short period of time. The attribution of epidemic is slightly tricky. For example, in case of meningococcal infections, 15 cases per 100,000 people might be called an epidemic, while in case of common cold, 300 cases per 100,000 people might not be called an epidemic. So the attribution of epidemic is dependent upon the baseline figure for each disease. A pandemic is a disease which has moved from one localized region to another region and to multiple countries and maybe across continents also. These are the basic definitions of epidemic, endemic, and pandemic. Since the matter of how outbreaks happen is excellently described in 2 videos, which I'll be linking down in the description, and also the video thumbnails are here. I'm not going to go into the math of how it is done. The bottom line is that pandemics don't seem like pandemics until they are. It is counterintuitive for us to think about the concept of exponential growth, which is what pandemics follow. In this video, I'm going to be talking about endemics because although there is a lot of lives lost because of endemics in different parts of the world, it is at a steady state and it does not necessarily affect the global economy and also human health at such a large scale. To get a clearer picture of an epidemic or a pandemic, we need to look at emerging infectious diseases, which are called EIDs. EIDs are diseases that threaten to be an epidemic or pandemic in the near future given the right circumstances. The circumstances I explained in the first part of the video, where the virus can take multiple directions, and they may have become emerging infectious diseases because of the fact that they may have gained resistance to the antibiotics that we use currently. They may have evolved pathogenicity to become more virulent towards humans. They may have entered new human populations for the first time, or the incidence of those diseases in given human population might have increased, which is why they are called infectious diseases. So you can see here in this paper, which was published in 2008 in Nature Letters, emerging infectious disease events are dominated by zoonosis. Zoonosis is where the disease transferred from animals to humans, and majority of these originate in wildlife, 71.8%, and they are consistently increasing over time. If you look at the supplemental information of this paper, you'll be able to understand where these diseases are coming from, and there's an excellent review of this emerging infectious diseases in this paper. And you can also see that 54.3% of these emerging infectious diseases are caused by bacteria. I'll come to this point a little later because this is of significance. Okay, so from this paper, there are a lot of takeaways. Large proportion from wildlife, alright, and this is due to a variety of factors. And at face value, it seems like wildlife is the problem, or us encroaching into wildlife is the problem. We may have to resolve the data more to understand what might be creating this problem and look at other papers that will help us resolve this data even better. The number of cases of zoonotic, the number of incidences of emerging infectious diseases from wildlife is increasing, maybe because of a lot of factors, and I'll be discussing a few now. One is that people are consuming wild animals as food, where agriculture might not be as developed as in other countries. There is a direct contact with the wild animals, so that may be one factor. Wild animals are kept in wet markets, such as in Wuhan, where this COVID-19 emerged, and these wet markets provide ideal hotspots for the viruses to jump from the natural reservoir to the adaptation post. So in this, you can see that agricultural practices that we are currently undertaking, in a paper published in 2014, they have talked about how agricultural practices are changing the way in which we interact with wildlife. And you can see here that the interactions between pathogens and their host are the major reason. Alright. So, for example, agricultural drivers such as new agricultural practices, modernization, intensification of farming systems, and habitat clearing are major reasons for are major drivers of emergence of zoonotic diseases. The reason why this happens is because of the fact that the range of natural wildlife is brought down, so they have lots of chance to interact with other species that they may not have been in contact with. And for example, livestock, So the viruses move from the natural reservoir to the adaptation host, which in this case might be livestock or other small vectors like rodents, flies, ticks, whatever. Okay, so the second takeaway is that a large proportion of emerging infectious diseases are from bacteria which have become drug resistant, and that a large proportion of these EIDs are zoonotic. So we need to consider these two data points separately. And a logical conclusion one can derive is that livestock production may play a minor role in the emergence of these infectious diseases. So let's take a look at graph 1b and the data for the last decade. The number of EAD events due to zoonotic wildlife is over 50%, as we discussed over in the beginning of this video. The top portion also is significant. It says that it is unspecified or it is from non-wildlife. So the most common way in which it can be resolved is that it can either be due to vectors like rodents, or the more logical conclusion is that it is coming from the livestock which we are in touch with constantly. The other one is non-zoonotic, so we don't have to, although we have to worry about these non-zoonotic diseases also, but it doesn't necessarily come from animals. But more than 70% more than 60% I would say is from animals, either wild animals directly or from livestock. Another point to note here in figure 1b is that most of it is non-vector borne, meaning it is not coming from ticks or mosquitoes or flies or rats or rodents in general, but it is coming from other animals. It could be wildlife or it could be from livestock also, but we don't know the resolution here as to where these diseases are coming from. Is it direct contact with the livestock or is it due to direct contact with wildlife? So another thing to notice here in this part, the white part, which says that it is vector-borne, agricultural practices, both horticulture and animal agriculture, provide a lot of avenues for vectors to come in. In case of horticulture, grains are stored in large warehouses and it may act as hotspots for rodents to come in, but I think damage incurred due to rodent infestation in grain warehouses is extremely low. But when you look at animal agriculture, the effluent treatment is a big problem, be it in developed countries or in developing countries. And these effluents play a major role in not just helping the organisms to survive, but thrive in these populations and reproduce on a larger scale, which means that they are potential vectors of viruses to be moved from wildlife to humans. And you can see here in figure 1c that about 20% of EAD events are due to drug-resistant pathogens, and this may be due to two practices. One is rampant use of antibiotics in the healthcare system, or it could be the rampant use of antibiotics for growth promotion. It is important to note that it is for growth promotion that the livestock sector uses antibiotics for, which may be one of the reasons driving drug resistance higher. Although the data regarding number of drug resistant bacteria from animal sources is just 2 out of 11. So we have listed some of the takeaways from the research published in 2008. Now let's look at the factors that are responsible for this. So here you can see that there are a lot of social and environmental risk factors for emergence of infectious diseases. It is listed here: rural to urban migration may be one, long distance mobility and trade of these animal sources, changes in personal behavior, human-induced global changes such as forest clearance and climate change, and also political ignorance, which is now seen across the globe in terms of denial of these actual environmental problems which threaten human health. Okay, so here you can see this is again from the Nature paper published in 2008. So these are the predictor variables, and these predictor variables are calculated in a multivariable logistic regression model for zoonotic diseases. from wildlife zoonotic diseases, non-wildlife drug-resistant pathogens, and vector-borne pathogens. And one common theme you can identify here is that the human population density seems to play a major role in all types of diseases, be it zoonotic wildlife or non-wildlife or drug-resistant or vector-borne diseases. And you can look at the other factors also for different types of diseases, but the underlying theme is that with increased human population density, there is increased likelihood, as you can see from the odds ratio here also, that human population density seems to be a major individual predictor of emergence of these infectious diseases. Okay, so there is another paper published in Environmental Health Perspectives which says that drivers such as agricultural encroachment into wild, deforestation, road construction between forests, dam building, irrigation, wetland modification, mining, concentration or expansion of urban animals, which talks about population density, coastal zone degradation and other activities are the major anthropogenic drivers of emergence of infectious diseases. Okay, so in this paper, which was published in 2001, it claims that around 616 zoonotic diseases are known to humans and livestock, and these diseases constantly breach species barriers, and of which 50% are also zoonotic. So this is a crucial point here because we are increasing the chance of a microbe to move from animals to humans or vice versa, and become transmissible to other humans, thereby increasing the likelihood of a pandemic. And this breach of species barrier is mainly due to our close proximity with these animals and the population density of these animals in these farming systems. Hence, the logical conclusion anyone can make is that we need to rethink the way in which we are raising livestock and the way in which we are demanding for livestock products. So here, this is a paper published, I think, in 2012 in Lancet. The three different stages of a pandemic are described. This is the crucial point where we can make a significant impact. I think there is a lot of work that is being done to identify zoonotic diseases in wildlife, but it is still not enough as per scientists working in this area. This is happening due to our encroachment and the way in which we are demanding products. There is a significant chance of reduction of transfer of viruses from the wild natural reservoirs to the adaptation host, and then since we usually live close to these animals, thereby reducing the chance of the virus moving from these animals to humans also. So from this figure, one of the solutions is to cut down the consumption of livestock so that there is much less frequency of contact between livestock and wild animals, which will reduce the incidence of viruses jumping from wildlife to livestock and then to humans and then causing a pandemic. So this is the first way in which one can solve the problem, or another way is to just continue using the antibiotics that we are using in the livestock sector to ensure that a lot of diseases don't happen in the livestock in the first place to emerge as an infectious disease in humans later. So these are two possibilities, and we should either accept that antibiotics are going to be used, or we can take steps to ensure that the demand from our side for the livestock products is drastically reduced or eliminated in the ideal scenario. One other thing to note is that the antibiotics that are used in the livestock sector will not target viruses. It will target the other things like fungus, bacteria, and parasites, but it will not take into consideration viruses, and we still have to bear the brunt of viruses jumping from wildlife to livestock and then to humans. So the study published in Lancet in 2012 claims that most of the identified reservoirs of pathogens that affect humans are mammalian, and to a lesser extent avian, and then to a lesser extent invertebrates. So this talks about the natural reservoirs. One can also logically extrapolate that the more relatedness that we have towards the species, it is more easier for the virus to transfer from the adaptation host to humans also. And most of the livestock that we produce are mammalian and avian, and we've seen outbreaks happening because of these animals also. So for example, mad cow disease, or the swine flu, or the avian flu, these are all things that came from the food system, and especially from these mammalian or avian hosts. So the host relatedness and the relatedness between the virus in the natural reservoir and known pathogens in humans plays a major role in the breaching of species barrier, as mentioned in this study. And this study also corroborates the fact that host species barriers play a major role in the ability of viruses to jump from one species to the other. This was a report published on antimicrobial resistance by the CDC in 2019, and they categorized the emerging infectious diseases into three categories, I think: urgent threats, serious threats, and other emerging threats. Two of those serious threats, so drug-resistant Campylobacter and drug-resistant non-typhoidal Salmonella, show an increasing trend over the past 10 years. The worst part about it is that antibiotics can be tweaked, and high throughput screening methods for drug discovery help in identifying different potential antibiotics for these resistant bacteria, but it's not the case for viral infections. Antivirals and antibiotics work in a different way. Antibiotics clear out the bacteria, while antivirals only slow down the life cycle of a virus so that the immune system can take over. So there is no way of directly attacking the virus through antivirals. The only way is to find vaccines for them so that the immune system can develop its own antibodies for the antigen, which is the pathogen that is entering inside. So you can see in this article, which is published in Our World in Data, which is a very credible organization, claim that 70 to 80% of the total consumption of antibiotics is by the livestock sector. So this is a major problem given the fact that resistant bacterial diseases are on the rise, and that we are rampantly using antibiotics in the livestock sector. Also, the biodiversity of a particular region plays a major role in the emergence of infectious diseases. So you can see that there is, in this study which was published in Nature in 2010, it says that biodiversity loss is frequently associated with increased emergence of infectious diseases. The current evidence indicates that preserving intact ecosystems and their endemic biodiversity should reduce the prevalence of infectious diseases. This figure shows that the emergence of, these are the global distribution of relative risk of an emerging infectious disease. You can see that mostly the countries that are underdeveloped or developing are the ones that are suffering from a higher risk of emerging infectious diseases. And it is also compounded by the fact that these are the countries with very poor health system structures, and it usually translates to poor outcomes in terms of human health in these countries if an emerging infectious disease were to hit these places. And due to the lack of good alerting systems in these countries, it might even lead to a pandemic like the current one.